Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. I hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. I wanted to come on here quick to remind you that this weekend we are doing a flash sale for my mindset workshop. It's only available this weekend, so the doors are closing Monday. So if you need help with your mindset, definitely check out the mindset workshop. And I wanted to come on here just to talk a little bit about mindset, to give you some tips and tricks that I use to help me with my mindset. It's also been awesome in Amelia's Dressage Club. So many of you have been sharing your mindset hacks and just different tips and tricks that you use to help you with your mindset, which is fantastic. And mindset really is a huge part of riding. Like, a lot of people say that riding is like 90% mental. And in a lot of ways, that's true, because when you go into your ride and you are focused and positive and confident, you have a good ride. When you start your ride off and you're like upset, distracted, afraid, unsure, it totally changes. So, mindset is something that we all struggle with. I was actually at a horse show. I went to a horse show last weekend. I took my two horses, Kensington and Luigi. And to be honest, I've been like struggling a little bit lately, like feeling like I'm not good enough. I'm not riding well enough. My horses aren't going good enough. You put in all this time and effort and training, and sometimes you just feel, am I even getting any better? So definitely, like, leading up to and going to the show, I was just feeling like a little bit down on myself and on my riding. And part of being mindful in your riding is being able to see that, like being able to take a step back and be like, okay, you're having these feelings. You feel like you're not good enough. You feel like you're not making any progress. And then ask yourself a little bit, like, is that true? Like, are you really not riding well? Are you really not making any progress? Because a lot of times the truth is that, you know, you're doing better than you think you are, and you are making progress. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, going to the show last weekend, in one thing that I always go back to is, what is your why? Like, why do you ride? Why do you have horses? And for me, at the end of the day, I truly love it. I love the feeling of riding. I love those moments where you feel the harmony with your horse. I love spending time with my horses. That's one of my favorite parts of going to horse shows, is getting to groom my own horses, feeding them, cleaning their stalls, just hanging out with them. Last weekend at the horse show, I stayed in the horse trailer. We have like a fifth wheel, so I had a little mattress up there, and I honestly love that, going and doing the night check, feeding them extra carrots, seeing them first thing in the morning. And so I decided that for the show, I was just going to do my best. I was going to love my horses. I was going to feel grateful that I was at this horse show, that I have these amazing horses, that I'm healthy and able to ride. And I think that that's really important to remember about when you start feeling down or negative, is like, how lucky are we that we even have horses, that we even can ride. Um, Another mindset hack, and I go into a lot, like inside the mindset workshop, there's an hour-long lecture with me. There's a bunch of step-by-step exercises that you can actually go out and do with your horse to help you with your mindset. There's also a lecture on nervous system co-regulation where we brought in a guest speaker, and there's some really great techniques that you can do before you even go into the stall with your horse, to just get your mind right, because it makes such a huge difference. So, a couple other tips to help you with your mindset. Number one is give yourself an out. So, I did this at the horse show last week, and you can also do this like just on a day to day. Is It's always okay to not ride. It's always okay to not show. And that's what I said at the horse show, because when I went down to the horse show on the first day, like, Kensington just didn't feel great. And so I gave myself the out. I was like, you know what? Okay, tomorrow I'm going to get up early. I'm going to school Kensington first thing early in the morning. I'm going to do lots of groundwork in the morning, and I'm going to see how he feels. And if he feels good, I'm going to show. If he doesn't feel good, if he feels terrible, I'm going to scratch. So give yourself that out. Like, you go to the barn, it's super windy. I saw someone in Amelia's Dressage Club said this, where they're like, I give myself the out. Like, I'm going to start with groundwork. I'm going to just get my horse out. We're going to start doing groundwork. We're going to see how my horse is. We're going to see how I feel. If it feels good, then I'm going to get on and ride. If it doesn't, then at least you've done something with your horse. So give yourself an out. You don't have to canter every day. You don't have to ride every day, but start. And a lot of times if you start, then you end up doing it. It's the same thing as like going to the gym. Getting started is the hardest part. But a lot of times if you can just start and like get yourself to the gym and start stretching, then you end up doing the full workout. So give yourself an out. And then the other thing that I think is really important is to remind yourself of how far you've come with your horse. And here's the thing, every horse is different. To be honest, some horses are just a lot easier than others. I've had some horses in my career that I just feel like everything comes easily. Every day they get better, they easily move up the levels. And other horses, it's just like really hard for them. So just remind yourself of what you've overcome with your horse and how far you have come. That's super important. And then the third thing is that, I don't know if it's the third thing, I've lost count, but my next tip is to remember that we need to support one another, and riding is really, really hard. So when you're watching someone on the sidelines and they're having a hard time with their horse, feel supportive, feel empathy towards them, because we've all been there. We've all had terrible rides on our horses, or things go bad. And it is so hard to ride these horses. It's so hard to train and to do well. So have that empathy and be supportive of one another. You never want to sit on the sidelines and be critical of someone, especially when they're having a hard time with their horse, because we've all been there. So we need to be a community, and we need to support one another and encourage one another, especially on those hard days where you feel like you want to give up. So here's a few mindset tips. Let me know in the comments if you have any other mindset tips. And I hope that you will join the mindset workshop. There's a lot more great tips and tricks in there. If you are in Strides, this is the same content that we did in January in Strides, so don't sign up again. But it was for those of you who've already taken the mindset workshop because you are a member of Strides. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the mindset workshop. It was one of my all-time favorite months, and we had so much great feedback from Stride students that were like, oh my gosh, this is so helpful. When you change your mindset and approach, it can literally change your next ride. So that's the cool thing about mindset, is that it's something that you can instantly improve and change and see the impact literally in your next ride. So I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget to sign up for the workshop. Monday is the last day. I'm going to head to the barn. The rain has stopped. It is blue sky outside. So I hope that you are going to get to do some quality time with your horses this weekend. Bye.